My name is Evelyn Parker, and for 15 years I believed I had a simple marriage. Not perfect, not extraordinary, just stable. I grew up in Akron, Ohio, the daughter of a mechanic and a school secretary. My parents taught me that money mattered because security mattered. Every dollar had a purpose. When I married Ryan Parker at 28, I thought I had found a man who understood those values. Ryan was charming, successful, and dependable. He worked as a regional sales manager for a pharmaceutical company and seemed to have his life organized down to the smallest detail. We bought a 2-story house in Westerville, adopted a golden retriever named Cooper, and settled into what looked like an ordinary middle-class life. 3 years into our marriage, I bought a ceramic piggy bank at a neighborhood garage sale. It cost 50 cents. The pig was painted white with tiny blue flowers around its neck. Something about it reminded me of childhood. That Friday, I slipped a $5 bill into the slot. The following Friday, I did it again. Soon, it became a ritual. Every Friday evening, no matter what was happening in my life, I added another $5. Ryan eventually noticed. "What are you doing with that thing?" he asked one night. "Saving money," I replied. He laughed. $5 a week? Evelyn, that's barely anything." "It adds up." "So does dust." I smiled and ignored him. Over the years, the comments continued. "Still feeding the pig? Planning to retire on that fortune?" At dinner parties, he occasionally joked about it. Our friends laughed. I laughed too, but something about those jokes always stung. Life continued. At least that's what I thought. Then things started changing. Ryan became strangely protective of his phone. Calls were taken in other rooms. Messages were hidden the moment I walked nearby. His business trips became more frequent. Whenever I questioned it, he had a reasonable explanation ready. I wanted to believe him, so I did, until one evening in October. I was searching the closet for an old belt when I accidentally knocked the piggy bank from the shelf. It hit the carpet and rolled. As I picked it up, I noticed something unusual. A thin seam ran along the base. I frowned. I had owned that piggy bank for over a decade and had never seen it before. Curious, I pressed against the seam. A hidden panel clicked open. My heart stopped. Inside the compartment were thick bundles of $100 bills, stack after stack, neatly wrapped. Beneath them sat a plain white envelope. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. Only one sentence. "For us, when everything is finally ready, don't let her find this." No signature, just a small heart drawn at the bottom. I stared at the words, then at the money, then back at the note. The room suddenly felt smaller. Ryan wasn't supposed to be home for hours. I counted the cash anyway. Once, twice, 3 times. The number never changed. $550,000. Hidden inside the piggy bank I had been feeding every Friday for 15 years. And somehow, deep down, I already knew the money wasn't the worst part. I sat on the closet floor for nearly an hour. The note rested in my lap while questions raced through my mind. Who wrote it? Who was us? And why was $500,000 hidden beneath the piggy bank I had touched every week for 15 years? Most importantly, who was the woman Ryan was hiding it from? Because the answer was obvious. Me. By the time Ryan came home that night, I had already made a decision. I would tell him nothing. When he walked through the door carrying takeout and smiling like any other Thursday evening, I forced myself to smile back. "Long day?" I asked. "The usual," he said. I watched him carefully. The man sitting across from me looked exactly like the husband I'd known for 15 years, yet suddenly he felt like a stranger. That night, after Ryan fell asleep, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. I wasn't crying. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was planning. The next morning, I called in sick to work. After Ryan left, I photographed everything. The hidden compartment, the stacks of cash, the note. Every image was uploaded to a private email account Ryan didn't know existed. Then I scheduled a consultation with a divorce attorney named Margaret Cole. Margaret's office sat inside an older brick building on the east side of Columbus. She listened without interrupting as I explained everything. When I finished, she folded her hands. "You did the right thing by staying quiet," she said. "How bad is it?" She looked directly at me. "Potentially very bad for your husband." Those words surprised me. For the first time since finding the money, I felt a flicker of hope. Margaret explained that hidden assets during a marriage could carry serious consequences. If Ryan had secretly accumulated money or property without disclosure, the court would want answers. Before I left, she handed me a list: bank records, tax returns, investment statements, any financial document I could legally access. For the next 2 weeks, I became an investigator inside my own marriage. I photographed records, saved statements, tracked account numbers. The more I looked, the more strange things I found. Transfers I didn't recognize. Accounts I couldn't access. Investment portals that suddenly required administrator approval. Then Margaret called. "I found something," she said. My stomach tightened. "What is it?" "A property." I drove to her office immediately. She slid a document across the desk. The property was a luxury condominium in Scottsdale, Arizona, purchased 14 months earlier. The owner listed on the deed was Ryan Parker. The co-owner was Vanessa Reed. My eyes locked onto the second name. Vanessa Reed. The letter in the note. The woman behind the heart. The woman Ryan planned a future with. Margaret placed another page in front of me. A photograph. A dark-haired woman stood outside the condominium smiling at the camera. She looked happy, comfortable, like someone building a life. My husband's life. "When was it purchased?" I asked quietly. 14 months ago, during our marriage, while Ryan and I were still sharing a bed, still celebrating anniversaries, still discussing retirement plans. I felt something inside me shift. Not heartbreak, not anymore. Something colder, something stronger. I looked up at Margaret. "What happens now?" She didn't hesitate. "Now we find out how much he's really hiding. And neither of us realized yet that the secret compartment inside the piggy bank was only the beginning. The deeper we dug, the worse it became." A forensic accountant named Sophia Bennett joined the case 3 weeks later. Sophia had spent years tracing hidden assets in divorce cases, and within days she uncovered things neither Margaret nor I had expected. The $550,000 hidden inside the piggy bank was only a fraction of what Ryan had concealed. There was a Delaware LLC registered under his control. There were investment accounts that had never appeared on our joint financial statements. And there were 2 additional properties purchased through a network of transfers designed to avoid attention. When Sophia finished her preliminary review, she looked at me across Margaret's conference table. "Your husband has spent years building a second financial life." I sat silently. Years, not months, not one mistake. Years. The realization hurt more than the affair itself. Every anniversary dinner, every birthday celebration, every conversation about budgeting and saving. All of it had happened while Ryan was quietly preparing an escape plan. The subpoenas went out shortly afterward. That was when Ryan realized he was losing control. The first sign came in the form of a legal letter delivered to my front door. His attorneys accused me of improperly accessing financial information and threatened legal action if I didn't agree to a private settlement. Margaret laughed when she read it. "It's intimidation," she said. "Should I worry?" No. 2 days later, Ryan appeared at the house. For the first time since I discovered the note, we stopped pretending. He stood in the kitchen staring at me. "This isn't what you think," he said. I folded my arms. "Really?" "Evelyn, you're making a mistake." "I know about Scottsdale." His face changed. "I know about Vanessa Reed." Silence. "I know about the LLC." More silence. "And I know about the money hidden inside the piggy bank." The color drained from his face. For a moment, he looked genuinely frightened. Then the mask returned. "You don't understand what's happening." "No," I replied calmly. "I understand perfectly." Ryan spent that night in the guest room. The following morning, he was gone. A week later, he returned with his mother. Judith Parker had never liked me. She believed Ryan could do no wrong. After sitting at my kitchen table, she launched into a speech about forgiveness, misunderstandings, and preserving the family. I listened patiently. Then I interrupted. "Did you know about the Arizona condo?" Her expression froze. Interesting. She hadn't known, at least not that part. Ryan immediately changed the subject. Soon the conversation shifted. They stopped asking for understanding. They started pushing for settlement, drop the legal action, sell the house, walk away quietly. The proposal was insulting. They wanted me to accept a fraction of what Ryan had hidden. When I refused, Ryan's composure cracked. "You don't know what kind of legal battle you're starting." I looked him directly in the eye. "And you underestimated who you're fighting." After they left, Margaret called with more news. Phone records had been obtained. Financial records were arriving. The evidence was growing rapidly. Then, one afternoon, she showed me something that changed everything. A screenshot of a text message sent from Ryan to Vanessa. The message read, "Evelyn has no idea. She still puts $5 a week in that piggy bank. She doesn't even know what's underneath it." I read it twice, then a third time. The words erased any remaining doubt. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate betrayal. And soon, Ryan would have to explain that message under oath. The deposition took place in February. Ryan arrived with 2 attorneys and the same confident expression he had worn throughout most of our marriage. For the first hour, he answered questions carefully. Every response sounded rehearsed. Every explanation felt polished. But facts are stubborn things. Margaret Cole moved through the evidence one document at a time. Bank transfers, property records, corporate filings, hidden accounts. Each answer Ryan gave created another contradiction. The confidence slowly disappeared. Then, Margaret placed a printed screenshot on the table, the text message, the one he had sent to Vanessa. Ryan stared at Ed. The room became silent. No explanation could fix it. No attorney could reinterpret it. His own words had destroyed the story he had been trying to tell. For the first time all day, he looked directly at me. I felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, just certainty. A few minutes later, his lead attorney requested a break. When the deposition resumed, the conversation changed completely. Suddenly they wanted to discuss settlement. Within days, formal negotiations began. The first offer was ridiculous. The second wasn't much better, but Margaret and Sophia had done their jobs well. Every hidden dollar had been documented. Every concealed asset had been traced. Every lie had a paper trail. Ryan's attorneys eventually understood something important. If the case went to trial, the outcome could become far worse for their client. 11 days later, a final settlement was reached. The Westerville house would be sold. The Arizona condominium would be liquidated. The 2 hidden properties would be sold. The Delaware LLC would be dissolved. Investment accounts would be divided. Ryan would pay all legal fees. By the time everything was completed, my share totaled approximately $1.6 million. The divorce itself lasted less than 15 minutes in court. 15 years of marriage ended in less time than a lunch break. When I walked out of the courthouse that spring morning, the sky was bright and cloudless. I expected to feel devastated. Instead, I felt free. The following year looked nothing like the life I had planned. I moved into a smaller apartment with large windows and a balcony where Cooper spent hours sleeping in the sunlight. I left my old job and accepted a position with a nonprofit organization helping women recognize financial abuse and hidden asset schemes. The work mattered. For the first time in years, I felt completely in control of my own future. The settlement money arrived gradually over 18 months. I invested carefully, saved aggressively, learned everything I could about personal finance, the same subject Ryan had always insisted I wouldn't understand. It turned out I understood it just fine. As for Ryan, life became much smaller. The hidden empire he spent years building collapsed under scrutiny. The relationship with Vanessa ended shortly after the settlement. The properties disappeared. The secret accounts disappeared. The illusion disappeared. One summer afternoon, I sold the ceramic piggy bank at a neighborhood garage sale. A young mother bought it for 50 cents, the exact price I had paid years earlier. She smiled and said it looked sturdy. I smiled back. "It is," I told her. After she left, I sat on my balcony with a cup of coffee while Cooper slept beside me. The sun was warm, the air was quiet, and for the first time in a very long time, there were no secrets hiding in my home. For 15 years, I dropped $5 into a piggy bank every Friday. Ryan thought it was foolish. He thought it meant nothing. But in the end, that little piggy bank revealed everything. The money wasn't the treasure. The truth was. And once I found it, I never looked back.